Alright, hang on. Hello.
Hello.
Angie, we're going beyond Citadel.
Hell yeah.
We are going beyond Citadel. Everyone says, we love the Citadel, but can we go beyond the Citadel? And now we can. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. So we're currently on the verge of, like, we're currently at war with Iran.
Oh,
We're on the verge of, uh, like, potentially Israel just, using nuclear
oh
warfare for,
yeah.
the first time in, 80 years. Um, we're sleepwalking backwards
Angie has,
into
yeah.
a global fascist surveillance state where the only people who are standing against it are Jerome Powell, the
Hmm.
guy who makes the AI Claude, and an army of furries who tweet shit like musky stepdad. So what is the better thing to do other
Uh,
than to
well,
play a video game about being an anime girl who shoots other anime girls until they are piles of
of
gore?
goo, of goo. Well, Australia basically outlawed criticizing Israel. So, this is what I'm thinking. Angie, has Australia ever done anything historically to piss off the Jews? They wouldn't nuke us, right? If worst
I
comes
don't
to
think so.
worst,
I mean, the way that the way that the Samson option works is basically that if Israel thinks that they're under threat, then they'll just nuke the entire world.
well, oh boy. Oh well, back to grilling everybody. They canceled politics in this country for the next 20 years. They basically said like, yeah, you're not allowed to protest Israel or you'll go to jail.
So, to answer Jick Johnson's question, is Beyond Citadel anti-Zionist? Is Beyond Citadel Antifa? I have heard that the developer for this game is, in fact, like a card-carrying member of the Communist Party. So, take that how you will.
I believe it. What do you know about Beyond Citadel? Is there anyone in chat who doesn't know what this game is? You're not gonna. Okay, we're gonna boot this up. You're gonna see an anime girl's head violently explode, and you're gonna start screaming. Okay, you can't. Is there anyone in here who doesn't know what this game is? Good. So this game is an indie Japanese first-person shooter, a very rare combination. The Japanese historically do not like FPS games. They get motion sick and they start puking if they see like first-person stuff. But this is by a man called Doekura Mori, and it is basically a combination of gun fetishism, one shota stuff, incest, near automata, that girl's out Mila Djokovic's outfit from The Fifth Element, and Outlaws, that old fucking FPS game with the cowboys, and Marathon. It has levels that are like Marathon. So let's.
Yeah, it's a guy who thinks that like the top game of all time was Marathon. So
Yeah,
what do you say?
we found the one Japanese man on the planet who not only played Marathon but actually enjoyed playing Marathon. Because Marathon, if you haven't played it, is like famously not very fun, but it's interesting.
He also
Mm.
He also made this tweet to explain the story
Oh,
of
please
it.
continue. Yes.
Uh, here's what he says. The Citadel slash Beyond Citadel lore in short. God was a neglect father. Angels started abusing children. Demons tried to save the children, but failed. Then a former abused child returned with a knife. The abused children tried to protect their toxic parents. All will die.
God, that fucking rules. Oh yeah, the main character of this, by the way, is I think a clone who wants to fuck her I think wants to fuck her brother, and I believe that is
Yeah.
the basis of this game. She lives in hell because she wants to have sex with her brother.
Yeah, basically. She's possibly like as far as I can tell, like it's I've tried reading like the full lore document, but I can't decipher like half of it.
Oh, a
Like
lot of it,
usually
yeah.
in English, it's just kind of so convoluted. It's like it's so difficult to like fucking understand
I,
what's
I
going
think
on.
I think
But
only Doakura Mori understands what happens in Beyond Citadel. I think he's, you know, can you see it? Can you hear it, everyone?
I can see it, and I hope that everyone else can.
I hope you can. And no, hang on, I might have to fiddle a little bit more. Where's black screen? Okay, uno momento. Oops. Maybe I'll have to do window capture with this. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Yes. There we go. Ta-da. All right. Now, let's handle our preferences.
Saw someone in chat earlier saying, "Holy crap! Like a Kimono Friends Zone stream. That's like before the sun goes
I
down."
know.
And I'm just thinking like, remember when you used to do like this really early morning streams?
Oh yeah, the ones where that was when I was in. I think it would be 11 p.m. at night for me, and I'd just be like, "Oh, let's just do a late stream." But it got during COVID where I lived with people. My downstairs roommate would eventually come up and just like bang on the fucking door and be like, "Go to fucking sleep! It is 3 a.m. Stop yelling!" And I'm like, "Go to fucking sleep, you bastard! We're not allowed to go outside because of COVID."
I drank 15 beers last night.
Oh!
I got a pounded headache. Go to bloody sleep.
Oh, he did love to drink beers and play video games all night. He would drink like 15 beers. He had his Gold Coast girlfriend who was covered in tattoos, and he'd be so fucking hammered he would only be able to communicate with me through text messaging. He would just be like laying on the bed like a starfish and messaging me being like, "Oi, oi, Rocky, can you give us a shiggy, mate? Can you give us a shiggy, bro? Come on, come on." But he'd
I've
oh, go ahead.
I've never been to Australia. Most of the Australians I've known have been very nice, but sometimes I wonder if that's like a selection effect and if
Oh God.
like the Simpsons episode where all Australians are actually just like obsessed with like the boot is just actually
No, that is the most truthful depiction of Australia ever put on television. No, they're just they're a bunch of I don't know. Everyone wants to just be like American, but they hate America now. So I don't know. They're trying to turn this
yeah.
country into America, but we're about 20 years behind America. I live in Brisbane, which is like a realm where the world is permanently 2007. There was once
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, here we go. The lore's happening.
There was once a kingdom of 10 billion people. Demons led by 7 trumpeters descended from the sky and destroyed the civilization of humankind. The sea withered and the land was decayed. 9,999,856,000 of them were slaughtered. The mass center of the Star Wars shifted, and the star was shifted, and the sun no
Oh.
longer rose. Oh, I
Oh,
missed that.
well, okay. We're awakening. Oh yeah, like 9 billion humans got like wiped out. Oh, I have to wake up. Oh, look at our design. Yes, this character design is amazing. Oh boy. Incredible. Well, here we are. You've seen The Fifth Element, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't actually.
I think this outfit is based on the main girl from that.
144,000. Well, 144 is 12 times 12,
Oh.
and 1,000 is 1,000. And like back in the old days, like if you had like 1,000 of something, that was like a lot.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest number that ancient people could understand.
Fathom, yeah. Oh god. Before we get it, are you familiar with Horrible Henry? I've been getting into what I like to call level 2 autism YouTube, where it's like BreadTube, but for like Thomas the Tank
Oh,
Engine.
I've seen Horrible Henry.
Well, there's people on YouTube that like have serious videos arguing that he's like being abused, and then he's like
Oh, yeah.
mentally ill.
Yeah, I get that impression. It just like makes intuitive sense to me that the British would just make a children's show where just like it's a child just being like psychologically tormented and
Yes.
like this is presented as normal.
Endlessly tormented. He acts like a chud and his initials are HH. Oh yeah, let's get this over with. This game's biggest influence is Jurassic Park Trespasser, where you can do this. Ta-da!
Yeah.
And who's this? So you decided to drop to the earth once again. I won't stop you, martyr.
Stop you, man. To be honest, I want you to stay here because you fulfilled your mandate. You don't need to live such a harsh life down there anymore. However, the truth you seek lies under the soil of that planet. I also want you to follow your desire, even if the signal sent to you was a trap. Don't worry, everything will be all right. I'll be waiting for your return, here.
Oh, Godspeed.
I think there's like I think like there's an interesting thing to be said about like numbers and like ancient cultures actually.
Yeah?
Like if you look at like the Bible, for instance, then like the usual like big number is like 1,000. And then if you look at like ancient Greece, then the usual ancient Greece or China, then the usual big number is 10,000, a myriad.
Yeah.
But then if you look at like ancient India, then it's insane because like they'll have like extremely long books, like just detailing like periods of time and like classifications of periods of time that are like 8,976,344,786,000. Like
Whoa.
just huge amounts of time with like really precise just
Yeah, why is that? They just were... Hindu scripture gets very... Well, that Hindu scripture is shown in... Have you played Asura's Wrath, Angie?
I haven't played Asura's Wrath, but I have like read the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, it's basically... oh, I should... there's nothing left, traveler. Everything burnt into ashes. Only sand survived the purification. If you decide to go ahead, please be careful. Oh yeah, here we have the Citadel itself, the base pro temple.
Yeah, there's like you know the whole concept of like yugas and kalpas and mahakalpas, and like the entire thing is just oriented around like these long periods of time during which various like intricate cycles happen. So like everyone's heard like the phrase like Kali Yuga, which is like
Yeah, what is that?
the fourth period. So basically, there's like a 4 yuga cycle.
Yeah.
There's the Krita Yuga, which is like the golden age.
Right.
It lasts for like 1,000 years or something. And that's when like everyone is immortal and really, really tall and has like glowing skin and doesn't require like any like special sustenance other than like the energy, the prana that courses throughout the universe. And then like there's the Dvipara Yuga, which is like the second age. Things get like slightly shittier. Instead of the Brahmins being in control, the Kshatriyas are in control. It's the age of like kings rather than
the weak men have made hard times, basically.
Yeah, but like it's still great. People still live for like thousands of years.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad.
And everyone is still pretty tall, but not as tall as before. And everyone like eats like ambrosia instead of pure energy.
Huh.
And then there's the Trita Yuga, which is the reign of the artisan caste, I believe. I forget what the artisan caste is called.
Mm.
But then that's when people's lifespans are reduced to mere hundreds of years, and they're no longer quite so tall, and virtue is like starting to become scarce, and
Yeah.
stuff kind of sucks, but it's still like mostly all right. And then after like the thousands of years of the Trita Yuga, you get the Kali Yuga, named after
Oh.
the demon Kali. And the Kali Yuga lasts for like a few 100,000 years, I
Oh,
believe.
shit.
And it's the age when human lifespans are brought down below 100 on average, and everything sucks, and everyone is mortal, and we have to eat flesh in order to survive.
Oh, fuck, that's horrible. That sounds like it sucks. I think, like, I don't know, I think Christianity kind of had it right where heaven just sounds really nice. Like, you don't have to go through reincarnation. No, you just get to live with God in heaven. But, like, the idea is that, yeah, like, your life on earth is, like, miserable, but then if you are virtuous, you get to go live in heaven, which is nice.
Yeah. I like the really weird takes on like the Christian afterlife, where like there's no heaven or hell. It's like soul sleep, and if you're good, you get like resurrected.
Yeah, well,
If you're bad, you just die. That's all that happens.
yeah, those weird Japanese cults that try and like min-max religions, like Shinrikyo was like, I'm gonna mix Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, and Judaism together.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, actually,
While also believing in the protocols of the elders of Zion.
yes, well, yeah, oh my god, yeah, the like Japanese anti-Semitism manifested in the belief that they were like, yeah, they rule the world, but we need them to help us. We need to get them on our side right now.
Yeah. 9 asks Angie, what are your thoughts on the cult of the supreme being and 1920s Soviet futurism?
Oh, please
Well,
continue.
I've heard the cult of reason personally, but I would identify as a 1920s Soviet futurist. I have called myself a biocosmist in the past.
Awesome.
I am fully on board with Alexander Bogdanov's whole deal of proletarian immortalism. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm 100% in on that.
The more is it what's that Soviet futurism? Is that the one where it became fascist, or is that just Italian futurism?
Italian futurism. You know, I was having a thought, like, by the way, just before like we got on the stream, just about like, you know, if you were very cynical,
Yeah.
this is very much in relation to this game. If you were cynical, you might be able to say that there's only 2 categories of human artistic creation, which
Right.
are propaganda and pornography, and there would be an element of truth in that.
That's true.
That is propaganda trying to say essentially, you know, this is how the world ought to be or ought not to be, and like pornography being loosely, you know, just the presentation of a fantasy. And
Yeah.
anything can be like considered as this in like varying ratios. And one of the things to note is that like I've heard like, you know, some statements of this sort of position, and I've heard like, you know, this position kind of being regarded.
Angie, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we are about to watch anime girls die horribly. So chat, prepare yourself.
Oh hell yeah.
Ready? There we go. Welcome to Beyond Citadel, everyone.
To some extent, like, you know, there is like some extent there is like, the idea that this sort of position is like implicitly totalitarian or something, which is, I think, like a very Soviet, like post-Stalin inflected notion of it. Because if you actually look, at like, the history of Soviet art, some of the greatest films that were ever made were made in the Soviet.
I think so, yeah. Come and See, Andrei Rublev.
Come and See.
I'm sure there's others.
And a lot of these were, like, more or less explicitly propagandistic, to varying degrees. Whether they were, like, explicitly regime propaganda, or they were, like, the personal, sort of forceful ideological beliefs of, like, their creators. Like, I'm trying to remember this one film.
I don't know. I'm thinking about, like, modern Russian movies and how they all, Zack Snyder hit the basically modern Russian film industry like a fucking, like, asteroid. There's movies released in Russia now that still look like 300.
Oh, yeah.
That...
The one I was thinking about was, The Cranes Are Flying. Amazing film.
Oh, that movie's... Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Just really incredible. And, like, that one is just, like, straight up. Like, to a great degree, it is really just, like, Soviet propaganda. It is really just about, like, the valor and the strength of, like, the Russian proletariat during, like, the hardship of the war. And it's still just fucking incredible. It's beautiful. I love it. And I think, like, then you look at, like, the totalitarian regime that really was all about, like, aesthetic value for its own sake. Like, we're going to make beauty with nothing else impinging on this notion of beauty is, like, Italian fascism and, to a lesser degree, Nazism. And you look at that, and there's just nothing that emerges out of that. All the great futurist paintings are from before 1920, from before the March on Rome. There is no real, like, cultural artifacts that are coming out of fascism, this movement that is obsessed with, like, aesthetics for aesthetics' sake.
Yeah, are you familiar with Ryuichi Sakamoto? He's basically Japan. He was Japan's David Bowie. He had an album... At the peak of his popularity, he decides, I'm going to do an album dedicated to Italian futurism. And everyone goes, what? Why? Why would you do that? So it's called Futurista. It's not a well-known album. It's been out of print. It's really fantastic. But I think, like, even... There was a point where every artist was like... I don't know. Like, every artist has, like, a brief Hitler phase. Like, Bowie famously was on so much cocaine, he thought he was a Nazi. And he became like
he was also eating exclusively peppers and milk.
Yes, and he was saving his piss, and he thought, like, people were spying on him. And he did so much cocaine, he became a pedophile. Like, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
I wanted to address another question. W. McNug asks, Angie,
continue.
Do you think the attempt at at transhumanism and augmentation are going to lead to renewal in Buddhist
there I am.
Or am I cribbing Peter Watts too much? And I would say, as someone who spends a lot of time in transhumanist subcultures, absolutely. No question about it. Like, pretty much anybody who is, like, interested in the question of, like, AI consciousness, AI sentience, like, augmentation, that sort of stuff, is just, like, really into, like, meditation and Buddhism and, like, the whole idea of anatta. I would say that is, like, absolutely safe. Another question, Agent Chunk says, Angie, my Chinese professor told me about Jacob Frank. Can you red pill me on Frankist?
Who's Jacob Frank?
Okay, so this requires a bit of backstory.
All right.
Back in around, I want to say the 1600, 1500, somewhere around like the 1500s to 1700s. There was a guy named Shabtai Tzvi, or as it's rendered in English, usually it's like Sabotage Dev. But I'll just call him Shabtai Tzvi because that's like kind of his name. He was Shabtai Tzvi claimed to be the Jewish Messiah. Oh yeah, I remember. It was like the mid 17th century. Because he claimed that his like advent of the Jewish Messiah was going to coincide with the year 1666. And what happened there is that like he had like a whole bunch of followers and he caused like a huge controversy because like a large number of like, you know, ordinary like Jewish believers were like, okay, this guy is our Messiah, right?
You can just do things.
You can just do things like this guy can just be the Messiah, and
he's allowed.
So what happened then was just like basically like the largest controversy in like post AD Jewish history. Because what happened is that he marched to Constantinople in order to be crowned as the Jewish Messiah. And the Sultan of Constantinople was just like, lol, no.
He's like, no, you're not God. You don't get to be God.
You're not the Messiah. You're not going to bring about the Messianic age. I'm going to give you, like, 3 options. And, like, one of those is you can, like, you can just stop claiming this. You can accept death, because if you are the Messiah, then you'll undoubtedly be able to be resurrected.
Oh, that's clever.
Or you can convert to Islam and put all this silly business beside you.
What did he do?
He chose the third option. He converted to Islam, and all of his followers converted to Islam. And to this day, there is a small community of Jews, crypto-Jews in Turkey, who are known as the Dürnme. And they practice like a sort of secret form of Judaism while outwardly appearing as regular good old Turkish Muslims.
But they're secretly Jewish.
Yeah, they're secretly Jewish.
Man.
Have you ever read the book All Tomorrows by C.M. Kursaman?
Old Tomorrow by C.M. who?
All Tomorrows by C.M. Kursaman.
No. I can't say I have. No.
You can read it online. It's like widely available as a PDF. It's just like this very awesome book about like through the future of humanity, like this malevolent, super intelligent alien race comes to the Milky Way, where humans have settled throughout the galaxy. And they have a religion that causes them to remake the universe through genetic engineering. So they fight a war and win over humanity. And as punishment, to bioengineer the surviving humans into a bunch of weird forms, including like these, like just cubes with eyes and mouths.
Whoa.
And, like, people who are like half deer and stuff like that.
That's fucking dope.
It's just like all these fucked up future evolution forms, and the guy who made C.M. Kursaman, which stands for Cevdet Mehmet Kursaman.
Whoa.
He was born in Ankara, Turkey, and he is Dürnme, as a matter of fact.
That's fucking crazy.
He actually wrote like a couple of books about Dürnme history and culture.
Do you think Turkey will be the next country to blow up? Not literally, I mean like culturally. I think Turkey's going to be the next big thing. Like, can you be a weeaboo but for Turkey? Is that historically a thing?
Oh, that's like a huge thing.
I think,
That is
yeah, we're all gonna become. I think Turkey culturally is very. Well, there's exports like Hassan, but like we become Turkish. Everyone wants to be Chinese. I think Turkey might be the next big thing in terms of.
I've met like a couple of Turkaboos already.
I mostly know Turkish weeaboos, and they're wonderful, but they're all insanely homophobic while being gay.
Yeah,
It's a weird quality.
that's just like very very common among like peoples of the Levant.
The Levant.
Yeah, I met like a Coptic guy who told me that like, you know, Lebanese women are beautiful, but every Lebanese guy is a little freak.
To take the topic back to Beyond Citadel, what are your thoughts on Guro as a topic? And more specific, yes, it's typically something I think maybe girls like. I've never met a man who was into Guro because I think it's not like if you're a girl. I remember reading like a book. It was like a romantic book where the guy turns into a werewolf, and it was like one of those femgooner lit things. But the guy turns into a werewolf and like rips her tits off and starts fucking her, and I'm like, oh, I guess this is what women like to read. Whereas, like, I don't know, if a man's into Guro, I imagine his mental landscape is just like American Psycho, the murder scenes. I imagine, like, yeah.
I mean, like, I think, like, the thing about Guro is, like, obviously it's an expression of drive, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Like, it's an expression of, like, it's an expression of, like, this sort of, like, where drive is connected to the real. Like, ordinary desire is, like, connected very much to the symbolic. And I mean, everything is mediated through the symbolic for most people. But, like, the drive connects to, like, the real. Like, sort of unmediated, fucked up, like, experience of reality. And
Yeah.
there is this sort of impulse where, like, no matter what, no matter how symbolically, like, jacked in you are, like, you inevitably, like, during, like, extreme experience, and orgasm is always an extreme experience,
Yeah.
inevitably you just, like, have this sort of eruption of the real into your consciousness.
That's not what.
And, like, sometimes that is, like, fucked up and horrifying, and you just, like, end up with, like, fucking, like post-nut clarity or something.
Yeah, and you're like, I have to write this down. What if this woman was exploding? What if you?
Just,
Yeah.
like, you're just like intimately, like, fucking, like, going like, oh god, like, you're suddenly really aware that you're just like a pound, like several pounds of, like, meat and fat that are, like, wired around, like, hard, like, crust.
Well, the body is basically just a bag. Yeah, and when the bag gets punctured, it's like, oh.
Yeah, so, like, I think, like, Guro and, like, a lot of other, like, fetishes, like, a lot of other things, like, you meet, like, girls who are, like, into vomit, you meet people who are, like, very coprophilic. I mean, you listen to Coil, so I assume you're very interested in that. But, like, I think, like, at the core, what it is just, like, there's a certain, like, embrace of the drive there. There's a certain embrace of, like, okay, like, inevitably I'm going to be, like, connect into the real whenever, like, I experience, like, jouissance. When I ever experience, like, the sort of pleasure that goes beyond what I can, like, sanely regulate. And you might as well just embrace that.
Yeah, there's an element, I think, in a lot of Victorian era pornography, or even not even pornography, but, like, Christian you know, these are Christian times, but they will usually have a part where like the girl has sex, and it's so good she fucking dies. It's like, and then she goes to hell for having sex. Obviously, that's how the story ends. But like,
Yeah, but I mean, like,
mm,
yeah. Also, ancient times asks,
Oh, God.
"Does salvation from sin be honest?" And so yeah, I forgot to pick that up. Continued Sabbatean story time.
yes, continue.
After Shabtai Tzvi's death, there was a guy named Jacob Frank in Poland who claimed that who basically claimed that Shabtai Tzvi really was the Messiah.
Oh shit.
That he had entered into sort of like an occultation period where he only pretended to convert to Islam so that he could one day return. And he also claimed some weird stuff about reincarnation because like that was like that's like a very common belief in like Jewish mysticism and reincarnation. He's like, so Shabtai Tzvi's like real spirit is going to reincarnate. Jacob Frank also claimed that his daughter may be like the female manifestation of God.
Whoa.
He mixed together some like Catholic elements, like claiming that his daughter was like the true spirit of the Virgin Mary or something. But like he founded a group called the Frankist Order. I think I think probably retrospectively, but the basic idea of the Frankist Order was that it was a military order. A group of people who lived in the forest, and they would spend 100% of their time either doing intense military training in like 18th century armor, or having like elaborate and like 50% of the time was military training, 50% of the time was incest orgies, because they believed that like the old law was abrogated, the Torah was abrogated, and as a result, what must be done is to violate all the precepts of the Torah in order to like prove their nullity, essentially.
Right.
And as soon as what happened is that like the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, I believe, started getting annoyed by
Yeah,
Jacob
they're
Frank.
like stop doing that.
A bunch of Protestant missionaries found out about the Frankists, and their main thought was, yo,
You can't be doing that.
it's a whole group of people that we can convert to Protestantism.
Oh.
And what eventually happened is that like Jacob Frank himself got tired of like pretending that like, you know, his weird incestuous relationship with his daughter was like a necessary preparation for the advent of the Messianic age or something.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
he just converted to Catholicism and instructed all of his followers to convert to Catholicism, saying that it's a necessary stage in
Becoming, yeah.
preparing the new religion that will be revealed afterward, that will finally like reveal the full truth and usher in the Messianic age. And to this day, there's like a few people who are like descended from the Frankists. They didn't maintain as good genealogy as like the Dönme in Turkey. And so most of them are just like indistinguishable from other Polish Catholics. But that was like sort of just like a secondary that was just sort of like a secondary you know, controversy. The Sabbatean controversy was much bigger, but like the Frankist controversy like left a lasting impression because like this was like one of the like most visible, like openly antinomian movements in a very long time.
Whoa. God, we really are we're getting esoteric on here, aren't we? Angie's full of knowledge. If you guys have any questions about esoterica or ancient religions or, I don't know, anime girls violently exploding, please chat. Go ahead. She knows everything. I think there's like an Adam Kurt. There's like an. I can't imagine what watching the stream is like. Me blasting anime girls to like gentle piano music while you talk about like ancient religions. We're doing like Adam Curtis type shit.
I haven't seen Space Adventure Cover yet. I do want to.
Rocky, what's your favorite track in this game if you have one? I liked the one from the previous level, that gentle piano. Oh yes, and here we have the nice little rest scene in which you're...
I don't know enough about Tukhachevsky.
Oh,
I don't know enough
I
about...
believe this character is called the Nugget, by the way. That's not your brother, that's like a clone of your brother. He's called the Nugget in the lore.
I do know a little too much about Baron von Ungern-Sternberg, however.
Who's
and
that?
It's Baron von Ungern-Sternberg was just like this. So Tukhachevsky was like a Soviet general who was he was a Soviet general who was a pagan, and that's all I really know. I don't know much more about him than that. But Baron von Ungern-Sternberg was a general of the White Army. And the thing about him is that he was basically just like the devil.
Oh shit.
In real life.
Oh man.
Was like he was known as
his name's like von Unger-Sternberg. Like, yeah, that's the most evil name in the world.
Yeah, he was just like a guy who like in his childhood he would just like torture animals and other children for fun.
Oh.
He grew up to be like an ardent monarchist, like just a full-throated defender of like absolute monarchy and Tsarist autocracy.
Oh.
When the Russian Civil War happened, he basically just like rampaged around like he just rampaged around like southern Siberia. Just like slaughtering entire villages with like a coterie of just like deformed rapists as his right-hand men. He restored the Bogd Khanate in Mongolia, and like, in exchange for them proclaiming them to him to be the incarnation of a bodhisattva, and then he made his way like westward again in order to try to have like this final showdown with the Bolsheviks, but they just captured him and just like shot him like a dog.
I do think about like generals, well, not even generals, just commanders like this. There's the guy in World War II, Der Wangler, I think his name is, where he's a guy that the Third Reich hired like to frighten children. Like he doesn't have any practical purpose. We just set him loose, and then we're probably just gonna shoot him at like the end of the war.
Yeah.
And his brigade consists entirely of like horrible fuck-ups that even like the SS hates. We're just gonna have like an army of serial killers.
Just having like, you know, like this guy who's just like, his only motivation is just like to be the most depraved sociopath in existence.
Well, yeah, he lives in like a time period where you can basically just like evil max. Like you can be like a fairy tale villain that like eats children.
So a couple of other questions. Hatsune MK Ultra says, what's this Purim shit all about? And,
what is that all about?
So that's like a really simple story of that. There is a book in the Bible called the Book of Esther. And Esther was basically just like this Jewish girl in ancient times, very possibly, very likely a fictional character. Like a lot of the stories in the Bible are fiction. I'm going to say
you're going there. Yeah, I'm saying we're saying it on this stream, guys.
The Bible belongs
Made
to
up.
fiction site.
Yo, we're putting it in there.
Like Esther, so Esther and like her uncle Mordecai were like, just like a couple of Jews in the Persian Empire, and the Persian emperor, like thought that Esther was very beautiful, and so he chose her as his queen.
Ooh.
And she used her position to improve the situation of Jews in the Persian Empire. Hey, is someone there? I'm stuck here. I can't pull myself
Stuck
out
in
of
the
this.
bin.
Help me, someone.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Oh, I guess we can't get her out. You missed this first time? I think you get upgrades by doing these levels, so you actually should do them. But what were you saying about Purim? Continue.
Yeah, so she uses her position to like improve the status of Jews in the empire, and like the Persian emperors, the Persian king's advisor, his scheming vizier.
Oh no.
Haman.
A sinister
is like,
homo.
I hate this Mordecai guy, and I hate Esther. I'm going to fabricate an edict that says that the king's special guards are going to kill every Jew in the Persian Empire, and thereby get rid of Mordecai in the process. And so he tricked the king into signing this edict without realizing the actual import of it.
Right.
And then Queen Esther goes up to him and is like, "But I'm a Jew, and Mordecai is a Jew, and you know Mordecai's done such cool things for you." And the king is like, "Hey, you're right. That's crazy. I signed this edict, and it means that I would have to kill all the Jews, and that would mean that I would have to kill you and your uncle, who's awesome, and like bakes cookies for me and stuff."
Oh
And
no.
so he orders Haman to be hanged, but also because he can't go back on an officially signed royal edict, he actually issues a second edict which says, well, like the king's royal guards are still ordered to kill all the Jews in the Persian Empire, but I'm going to make sure that they don't have weapons, and I'm going to give all their weapons to the Jews. And so all the Jews get all the weapons, and so when the king's royal guards come after them, they kill all the royal guards.
Man.
And then, as a celebration of that, Jews are ordered to get so drunk that they cannot tell their left from their right, and as well to eat little cookies that are shaped like tricorn hats, because Haman allegedly had a tricorn hat, and they're called Hamantaschen.
Jewish history is like a regular show episode. It's basically just like you're getting into hijinks, everyone's about to get killed, and then you're just like, nah, hang on. I'm gonna play this guy for a sucker. Let's look at these designs. These these are angels, by the way. These are what angels look like to Doaku Amori. These kind of biomechanical anime girls. Oh, there's
also M3GAAA, or I'm just going to say M3GA, asks, Angie, can you clarify for me who can actually convert to Zoroastrianism? And it depends on who you're talking to, because if you talk to the Parsis in India, they're like the main like Zoroastrian group these days. Then no one can convert to Zoroastrianism. It's locked in. The only way to convert is like if you marry in, and even then that's like arduous and difficult. If you're talking to the Iranis, however, or to the various Iranian Zoroastrians, like there's actually a distinction here. The Iranis are like Zoroastrians who migrated to India over the course of the 19th century, I believe. And the Iranian Zoroastrians are Zoroastrians who like continue to hang out in Iran itself. And they have like much looser qualifications for conversion. Some Zoroastrians will just allow only other members
Hmm.
of like Iranian peoples to convert. Some Zoroastrians, however, will allow basically anyone to convert. I think Morgan Freeman converted to Zoroastrianism
Are you
after, like, finding
familiar?
a sympathetic Iranian mobed.
That's awesome. Are you familiar? I think it's a. My girlfriend had an encounter with one of these people. They're like a UFO cult. They have a, I think, a Star of David and a swastika in their logo. Do you know what this cult is?
The Raëlians.
Zarelians. What's their
The
deal?
Raëlians. They're awesome.
Raëlians.
They're awesome.
Yes.
So they believe that thousands of years ago, aliens came to Earth in order to genetically engineer humanity into existence, and these aliens are called the Elohim.
Oh,
And
whoa.
they
Elohim, yeah.
believe- And they believe that there is no God, there is no they don't believe in God, they don't believe in like spirits or anything. They believe that the aliens intended for us to have a good time, but we keep fucking stuff up.
Oh,
Because
man.
we keep putting stupid people in charge of everything.
So it's like libertarianism, basically. Where it's like a. I don't know. Hang on. Where was I
Yeah,
going?
and so they say if we have like smart people who
Oh.
meditate and church, then we would have, which they call geniocracy, then we would have universal health care
Oh.
have like and we'd have like a sexual utopia where everyone drives sports cars and has lots of kink bisexual sex, and everyone gets cloned so that they never die.
Okay. What's the downside? There's
and-
got to be a downside, right?
I mean, the downside is that like you get like the usual like cult stuff, but apparently there's like way less like cult abuse from the Raëlians.
I don't think I've ever heard of them until my girlfriend mentioned meeting one. Yeah.
Like,
The Raëlians.
yeah, like I haven't heard of like, that many problems. Like, I even worried, they're super sexually libertines.
Yeah, this is definitely like a horny uncle type of religion. Uncle Dave is a Raëlian.
Yeah, like
It's a
Like,
rape cult? Is it a rape cult? That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, I mean, like, I haven't like heard of many cases, but like, it's very possible that like,
It's locked
like-
behind like Quebecois French, maybe.
yeah, it's very possible that like, if you read French, it's a different story.
Yeah. Damn, they got cults. I'm trying to think of other, like, I don't think Australia has ever had a problem with like cults because we're not religious and we don't believe in anything except
They have
football.
their own. I mean, there's like the cult that Julian Assange was raised in.
Oh, what was that? Is that Children of God? That's not Children of God, is it? That's River
No, it's
Phoenix.
a different one that also called itself the Family, I think.
That's right,
A
yeah.
lot of cults are just called the Family, just because like that's like the default name for cults, honestly.
Yeah, Cult 001. I'm trying to think, yeah, River Phoenix. I think Michael Gyra was also like part of the Children of God or something, wasn't he? Or no, maybe he just named an album after it, but I know he was fascinated by them.
Yeah.
The Chris Owens from Girls. What about
Heavy Metal says there is a great Zoroastrian video game, by the way. I want to know what one that is because I recently came across like this roguelike that is based off of like the Rosa Mira mythology. I'll
Whoa.
get more into that, but there's another question. Agent Chunk asks, do Jews try to say the Bible is right about everything even when it contradicts like Protestants do, or what do they do?
Do they?
It's weird. It's weird. Wait, Baka Shama asks, Angie, didn't you do a McGill reading a few years ago? Yes, I did. But with regard to like the Jewish biblical literalism question, I guess kind of depends because like there's some Orthodox Jews who are like kind of literalist about the Bible, but even they like, have like a Talmud which is like supposed to explain all of like the contradictions. Um like the Talmud is supposed to like explain all the contradictions. It's like a very long and elaborate commentary on
The Talmud, from what I understand, is like the world's first form thread.
Yeah.
It is basically just Jews arguing, and then another Jew comes along and is like, no, that guy was full of shit. Here's what God wants me to fucking do. And then
like,
so on and so on.
Yeah, there's like some things that are eventually just like kind of agreed upon, but like, at the end of the day, it is like forum thread. Like every time like you see someone like doing that, like the Talmud says that you can marry a 3-year-old girl. I mean, like
that's one guy who probably got downvoted.
That's a forum thread. That is a guy who got downvoted.
he got banned by the mods. He's like, well, here's what I think. I think you should be able to marry a child. And then the other guy comes, he's like, what are you fucking talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? Get this guy out of here.
Yeah, like the majority of Jews that you'll encounter in day-to-day life are Reform Jews, and Reform Jews are not known for being biblical literalists at all, and sometimes are like a little annoying about it, in my opinion, because they'll be like, actually, Judaism doesn't even have like a concept of God, really.
Right.
And it's like, no, you're like, there are Orthodox Jews, there are conservative Jews. Judaism does have a conception of God. It's just that, like, your synagogue may not, but like it is objectively the case.
Are Shabbat Jews the ones that are like no, you must purge like Israel so that God can come back or something, or is that evangelism?
Chabad is like super Zionist.
Right.
Chabad is just like, they're kind of a cult themselves. They're like just like a very large Hasidic dynasty. They're dead rabbi worshippers.
Whoa.
They're dead rabbi worshippers. They believe that a lot of them, like, the official position is that they won't say, but like, you talk to like the average like Lubavitcher, and they will just be like, yeah, our Rebbe was the Messiah, and we were preparing for his return.
Whoa. And Hasidic Jews are the ones that live in New York and decided to just like create a shtetl in the middle of New York, right?
I mean, yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Hasidim, like, there's a few different types of Hasidim. There's like a bunch of different types of Hasidim, because like the way that it's organized is, so like you have like Orthodox Judaism is divided into like 3 different groups. There's the modern Orthodox. Ben Shapiro is modern Orthodox.
Right.
Which basically means like you adhere to the Torah, but you're also trying to like bridge like the gap between like being observant and living in the modern world. And then there's like a different kind of Orthodox, which is usually known as ultra Orthodox or Haredi, and this is like divided into 2 groups. One is the Mitnagdim, which one is the Mitnagdim, which basically means like the strict ones. The Mitnagdim do not believe in mysticism. They believe in just like traditional Torah observance. And then the Hasidim are the mystics. They believe in like meditation and hitbodedut, which is like talking to God intimately, and like all this stuff, reincarnation, Kabbalah, etc. And
whoa.
The way that Hasidim are structured is that they have dynasties. which is that a Hasidic group is headed by a Rebbe. This is supposed to be like sort of like a special rabbi who is like the leader of the whole community. Like they
Whoa,
have,
they're like the
this
king
special
rabbi.
Yeah, they're like the king rabbi. And the like the idiosyncrasies of the Rebbe are very often like, you know, what defines what a Hasidic dynasty is like. So for instance, the Satmar Rebbe, and the Satmar are the ones who like basically just own a town in like
The middle,
New York.
the middle of New York for some reason.
Yeah, they're the ones who own a town. They're anti-Zionist.
Oh,
Pretty heavily anti-Zionist. And the Neturei Karta, I've actually met a Neturei Karta. They're very nice, I would say. They're a little cranky, but very nice. They're like the hardline anti-Zionists who, like, you know, like they visited like Iran at the invitation of Ahmadinejad.
and like anti-Zionism, like with like these sects, kind of just means like, well, no, Jews are like a worldly people or something like that. What does it mean to them? Because I'm kind of confused.
Anti-Zionism for these sects means that God specifically ordered us not to do this.
Oh wow! Don't make Israel, because God. Oh man, I hadn't thought of it like that.
Yeah, like the entire idea is that like the exile will be ended only when God says that it is
Oh.
okay, that He wants to do.
So
that.
you have to wait until God comes back, and then he will tell you.
Yeah, and anything else is sin, and Israel being so brutal is like a result of this, essentially. It's like because the state of Israel is defying God by existing, it necessarily just like becomes brutal.
Right. Because so they weren't. Oh my God. I like that they're like anti-Zionism. It's like no, it's not time yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, Guro says, oh yeah, those anti-Zionist Hasidic Jews hate that the Israeli Jews, quote-unquote, recreated Hebrew and believe it's a fake language. I mean, like, it's a complicated thing because, like, Hebrew is, like, a resuscitated language. It's very modernized. Its pronunciation has been adapted. You can actually tell, like, you know, let me just like find like a good example.
The Frankenstein language. Oh yeah, we're in a tank now, everyone.
So, basically, if I wanted to read like the first couple of verses of Genesis in modern Hebrew, this is how it would sound.
Let us listen.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום ורוח אלוהים מרחפת al panei hamayim, and that's how it would sound in Israeli Hebrew. But if you wanted to say it in like, you know, if you wanted to like Hebrew branched off in the way
Right.
If you want to pronounce it like it was pronounced 2,000 years ago, it would sound more like Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim wa et haaretz wa haaretz hayatha thohu wa vohu wa hoshech al panei thahom wa ruach Elohim maharachet al Hamayim. And if you wanted to say it like in Ashkenazi pronunciation,
let's listen.
Like how like most Hasidim would pronounce it. It's like more like Bereshis bara Elohim es Hashemayim ve'es haaretz v'haaretz hayesa sohu v'vohu v'choshech al panei Sahom Varuach Elohim Marachapes Alpanei Hamayim, and it's like that basically. There's like the stress patterns are different, like the thus in ancient Hebrew are transmuted into thus rather than into us. It's very different sounding over the years. Very influenced by like the local pronunciation of like the vernacular dialect.
It does sound Baltic. The chat is correct. It does sound Baltic. You speak the ancient tongues.
It is supposed to sound Baltic. Yeah.
How old is that language? Yeah, it's like the oldest language in the world, right? Or is that like Aramaic?
Hebrew is not the oldest language in the world, neither is Aramaic. There's like much older language.
Oh my god.
The oldest language that is actually attested, I think, is Sumerian. Yeah.
And I'm guessing you can speak that somehow. You're always a...
I wish I could. There are people who do know how to speak Sumerian.
Sumerian, yeah.
But like shortly after the emergence of like written Sumerian, you also then get written Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Whoa. I remember
Sumerian is a language isolate, which means that it's not known to be related to any other language, which means that like every single linguistic crank likes to say that like they have a theory that explains it.
I remember when Kingdom Come Deliverance came out, the enemies in that game, the raiding invaders, are the Cumans. And I don't think there's any traces of their language left, so they just had to use Hungarian, because that's the closest thing there is.
Oh yeah.
So it's basically a lost language. Yiddish insults were too powerful, yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Continue.
But yeah, like, the oldest religious texts we have that are from like a currently surviving language are like Sanskrit texts. I mean from a currently surviving religion. I mean are like from Sanskrit texts. Basically.
Sanskrit, yeah.
The Vedic religion is super like strange by like modern standards of like currently practiced like Hinduism. It's practically unrecognizable. There's constant animal sacrifices. There's just like this whole like religious setup that is oriented around sacrifice and war. It's practically unrecognizable from modern Hinduism.
Whoa.
And like pretty much all of like this sort of philosophical developments that like characterize like modern Hinduism like developed over thousands of years layered on top of the Vedic texts.
Huh. It's like with the Greek mythology where it's actually dirty as shit if you actually read it. You need like a Japanese guy to interpret that. He'd do well.
Yeah, exactly.
Hitler's favorite painting was that picture of Zeus like as a swan fucking a girl.
Oh yeah, I've actually seen a reproduction of that.
You have the picture of Zeus where he's turned into a swan and having sex with a woman? Awesome.
Yeah. But like, what's it called? King of DVDK asks, Angie, did you go to Israel for the McDonald's burger? Thankfully, I have never set foot in Israel.
What's the Angie take on Israel, actually? When
I was a baby, I was supposed to be a hilltop youth.
Really?
And then the rest of my family said, no, don't do that.
You must not go.
And so I was not an Israeli settler, thankfully.
Oh, man.
It would have been so fucked up if I was.
Oh
that
my
would have been
God.
like the
No.
worst.
The evil Angie route? My god.
God, yeah.
Yeah, the bad future
Judaism
Angie.
is basically like a framework built over tons of different sects. It's definitely not like, you know, a unitary thing at all. I wouldn't go so far as to say, like, you know, there are some takes that, like, you know, Hinduism has never had, like, any notion of coherency. It's all just, like, you know, regional sects. I wouldn't agree with that because, like, for at least a few thousand years, there has been, like, the idea of, like, you know, Astika and Nastika sects, on, like, the South Asian subcontinent. Like Jainism and Sikhism and Buddhism, as well as various imperialist schools, are all considered Gnostica or unorthodox, whereas schools that derive their teachings from the Vedas and the Upanishads are considered to be Astika or orthodox sects.
We are learning so much this stream chat. How are you feeling? Are you enjoying this? I hope you're having a great time. I am. You always teach us so much, Angie. I'm learning about Jews.
Let me double check that.
Angie just goes off. Go, Angie.
Yeah, so the Cuban language was a West Kipchak language.
Right.
That means that likely yeah, so like the most closely related languages to it are Kazakh, Kyrgyz, and Tatar.
Oh, Cuman?
Yeah.
Are we coming back to the Cumans? Oh, Tartars, yeah. God, all these lost languages. The people of the steppe. Desi, thank you. I believe you're a new person. Oh, I died. Oh yeah, you just get blown apart down the bottom left. Your little martyr just gets blown apart. Coming back to Beyond Citadel for a moment. Oh, go ahead, Andrew. You finish this
I've
question.
been asked what's my take on Israel.
Yeah, go ahead. That's a hot take.
On Gog and Magog. My take on Israel is that like, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, it sucks. Like, the government sucks. A lot of the people have just like let their like abject rage like completely blind them to anything other than, you know, just fucking like trying to like get revenge on the Palestinians. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
If you look at like the history of Israel, like you get like this really fucking complicated
It was intended as like a eugenics project, wasn't it?
Well, it's a really bizarre situation from like the 1880s to like the 1940s, because like you get like the earliest waves of immigration, and like most of the time they just like kind of like there have been like Jews living on the land for like a long time, just Jews living in Palestine for like thousands of years, but like these are like mostly like Sephardic.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then you get like Eastern European Jewish immigration, and there's some conflict, but like not much goes all that wrong.
Right.
It's like
Things are still okay.
yeah, it's like conflicts really begin like arising when you get like a wave of like Russian Jewish emigration in, I want to say, roughly the 1920s.
Problem starters.
And this like brings along like a very tough, muscular version of Zionism. That's like we Jews have to defend ourselves from anyone, everyone by any means necessary. This starts causing conflicts. The Balfour Declaration, the Brits fucked it up.
As they do.
The Shoah happens, of course,
Mm.
in the 1940s. This like just kind of reinforces the idea that like Jews are not safe anywhere where they're a minority. They have to have their own like majoritarian homeland.
Yes.
And the Zionist organizations in the 40s, a lot of them are insane. You
Yeah.
have, socialists. You have, the majority are, socialists. Like, the Haganah was, a socialist organization. And the Haganah basically is just doing, we'll do socialism, we'll do egalitarianism, we'll do the kibbutz model, but it has to be like Jewish majority. We have to have our birth rates up.
Yeah.
We can't allow the Arabs to control it. And at the same time, there's these ideologies developing in Europe throughout the early 1900s that are basically
what are Jews? Yeah. What are they?
Yeah, we Ashkenazim are fucked up, basically.
Oh.
As Ashkenazi Jews, a lot of these writers are saying we're fucked up. We're weak, we've degenerated, we suck.
We're dysgenic, yeah.
We're dysgenic little nebbishes. And take a look at the strong Jews of the Mediterranean with their beautiful bronze skin and muscles.
Blonde hair, yeah.
Yeah. And so this entire worldview becomes deeply enmeshed in Zionism.
Right.
And so there's this sort of specifically Ashkenazi self-hatred that becomes very integral to a lot of the project of Zionism.
Right.
And this is the real impetus behind Yiddish still being stigmatized in Israel, even though there's revival efforts in Israel for other non-Yiddish Jewish languages.
They see it as living in exile, don't they?
Yeah, they see Yiddish as the language of exile, par excellence. It's the language of people who are pathetic and cowardly and are content to let themselves be slaughtered by the Gentiles en masse forever, instead of ever standing up for themselves and, embracing, the, kill or die mentality.
Yeah.
That,
Hessa, thank you.
is, necessary, for anyone to survive. And so... it's this mentality that really ultimately results in things like the Nakba, mass expulsions of Palestinians, war with all of their neighbors, just this idea of we must kill and be killed.
Hurt people hurt people.
They think that they're living in Bokurano.
Oh,
they think that they're living in Bokurano, basically.
Right.
And then what happens is that, contemporaneous with this, throughout, the 40s and the 50s, a combination of things happen in, various Arab countries and, non-Arab Muslim countries, like Iran. There's a huge pogrom in Baghdad that basically convinces a lot of the Jews in Iraq it's time to leave. We have to go somewhere else. And so they all end up going to Israel. Similar things happen in like Algeria and various other countries throughout the Middle East and Central Asia. And you get like huge populations of like Middle Eastern and Central Asian and North African Jews, who like, for various reasons, Nana Desa 69 says there is evidence Mossad instigated it. Like, there is some evidence that Mossad instigated, like some others. Like, a lot of the evidence is kind
The
of...
6-Day War where they were, like, bombing, like, right next to their border or something, like Mosh Dayan.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's, like, a lot of, like, just mixed stuff, like, all around. But, like, in any case, what happens is that, like, from, like, the perspective of, like, you know, the people leaving, like, these countries for Israel, like...
This is the only safe place after the Shoah, yeah.
You know, from their perspective, it's like, our family has been living here for, like, 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And then suddenly all of our neighbors are, like, throwing bricks through our windows and, like, dragging our friends out into the streets and beating them to death. So, like, we have to leave. It just goes to show that these people are not trustworthy. We cannot coexist with them. And they move to Israel, and then they become, like, the hardest line right-wingers in Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the most racist, the most, like, hideously racist...
Kahanas, are they called?
Kahanism is, like, kind of a separate story, even. It's, like... almost like a weird fuck-up story that's like American-made rather.
Oh yeah, because he was American, wasn't he?
Yeah, Israeli.
And he was like
Yeah,
a mainstream presence too.
Yeah, but like the average like Likudnik, who is like, the average like Likudnik who is just like singing like songs about killing the Arabs, like, is very likely someone whose like grandparents were just like expelled from like Iraq or Syria or something.
Yeah.
And who learned from that the lesson that we cannot trust any of our former neighbors and we need to get rid of them all.
Oh shit. Yeah, and Kahane is like an American version of that, where he's like, no, we need to like just kill people or something. I can't remember what he believed.
Was an insane Orthodox Jew, is the thing. He was an insane Haredi weirdo from America.
Yeah, Biggy's from Philly. Yeah.
I once like read like I once was like linked. I once read an article that somebody had posted in the comment section of something entirely unrelated, and I was like, this is like the most deranged like anti-Semitic rambling I have ever read. And then at the very end it says written by Meir Kahane, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh my god, I was thinking, you know Netanyahu's brother Yoni?
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with him? Okay, if you guys aren't familiar with him, there was a mission, I think, in Uganda where they went and rescued a bunch of hostages. They rescued nearly all the hostages. Yoni is the only one who gets killed in that raid. Yoni is the only one who dies. He's Netanyahu's brother Yoni. And all I can think of when, like, I see Netanyahu is, like, an anime girl being like, if only Yoni was here. If only Yoni was here. If only Yoni was here, he'd know what to do. We lost our buddy Yoni.
Yeah, like,
he's like a dead one.
Like, Kahane's first political activity, was that he started the JDL.
Oh, yeah.
And his whole thing was that he kept trying to bomb embassies.
Oh, shit.
He just, like, kept trying to bomb, like, the Iraqi embassy. He tried to bomb the Soviet embassy. He tried to kidnap a Soviet diplomat in the 70s. He thought that, like, just kidnapping Soviet diplomats and, like, bombing the Soviet embassy would, like,
Whale gun.
force the Soviets to let the Jews in.
Let my people go, yeah. I think like embassy bombings and plane hijackings are a very 70s thing, because Palestinians used to hijack planes in the 70s a lot. But it was to the point where it was like a joke. It was like, oh fuck, where are we going? They'd always end up landing the plane and be like, it was mostly just like a pain in the ass if your plane got hijacked.
There was like this old Soviet joke that I really like where like a Georgian man is boarding a plane with his big suitcase, and like suddenly like a hijacker goes up to the cockpit and is demanding that the plane be diverted to Israel. And then right behind him, you know, his head slides off, and right behind him is the Georgian man with a huge knife, looking at his watch and tapping his briefcase, saying, "No Israel, Misrael, fly Moscow non-stop. My roses are wilting."
No, because they didn't even scan. I don't think they even. You used to be able to just walk right into the cockpit of a plane, I think, and they didn't scan your bags or anything like that. You could just carry a gun onto a plane, no problem. And so yeah.
It used to be that like airport security was just like a good guy with a gun defeating a bad guy with a gun.
That was all it was. It worked for a while, yeah. You did have that weird communist sect in Japan. That weird Japanese Red Army, they went to Israel and they just started shooting people in a line. I think it was something like that. And then like everyone was like, wait, these people are Japanese. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I think like one of the members of Raëlism joined up with them. Right.
Oh, yeah, they're like a split of a split of a split. Like so they're
Did you ever see the movie United Red Army? I haven't seen it yet.
No.
I do know that the soundtrack is done by Jim O'Rourke, and the story that it's based on is there was this one like Japanese New Left group, who just like they had like 30 members. They only had like a maximum of like 25 members, and they killed 17 of them themselves.
Yes, I know that story. Yes. There was a Hyoka Dojin like, about that.
Out of ideological purity.
Yes, they had a mountain cabin where they were just killing each other. Yeah, back when Japan was cool.
Devoted to Maoism and just shooting each other.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, the first cancellations, really. Now we can just do call-outs. We can't, you know.
Yeah, we're not allowed to like get together in a mountain cabin and murder each other.
No, they don't let you do that anymore. You do that alone.
You're allowed to gather in like you're allowed to gather in a basement in Brooklyn and put someone in a cage though.
Oh yeah. I did see that movie, Castration Movie Part 2. Louise came and sat up the back with me.
Yeah, I saw that movie. That was a great movie.
That's based on a true story. They will do that to you in Brooklyn. They straight up will put you in a cage. Hesse was so funny in that movie.
Did you know that within the next 4 years, by the way, what's it called?
I'll let you think of it, but just one more anecdote about Castration Movie. Louise was there. Afterwards, I walk out and I go, hey, the cult leader character, I'm going to share an inside joke. I'm like, the cult leader character was based on a philosophy tube, right? And she goes, no. She's actually in the next part of the movie. I'm like, oh, never mind, never mind. Never mind. Don't worry.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, that must have been...
I was like, oh no, I gotta bail on this bit.
Oh no. But yeah, like, Yeah, I was thinking, did you realize that in the next 5 years, the percentage of world central bank reserves that is denominated in US dollars is going to be eclipsed by the percentage of world central bank reserves that is denominated in gold.
Oh, they're bringing back gold? I thought Reagan ended
Yeah, they're
that.
bringing back gold.
I thought we got rid of gold.
Yeah, I did too, but no, the gold standard is coming back.
Folks, buy gold. You heard it here first. Buy gold and subscribe to K-Zone with it.
Unironically, all the fucking Ron Paul people who were like, buy gold, they were right. They were right. The US dollar is going to become worthless by the end of the decade.
My God. Good thing we bought gold. Buy K-Zone gold, everyone. Look at this design, how ludicrous it is.
That actually makes me think, one of the craziest parts of the Epstein emails,
is that he was like a boomer idiot?
Not just that he was a boomer idiot, but that he was obsessed with the idea of creating a new financial system.
Oh, yeah. No, oh man, we could talk about Epstein now. He had all these ideas, like, we're gonna create it. It's the kind of thing that, like, old tech people email each other. We gotta get in on this shit.
Yeah, so here's an email from Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
When Sputnik was announced, the West was caught flat-footed. The same can now happen with Russia taking the lead in finance. Instead of competing with the West for nanotech, copying Silicon Valley, looking for startups, playing catch-up to Microsoft, Apple, Google, and the like, Russia can get out in front and leapfrog the global community by reinventing the financial system of the 21st century. Since banks were invented in the 1600s in Venice, little has changed, and though technology has enabled a new speed paradigm, fundamentally it is still the same. As you know, I helped craft the derivative markets in the States in the 70s. That was a prelude to a much more advanced disruptive securitization scheme that is now made possible by technology. Russia is unique in its capability to execute on a grand vision. It's very important to remember that he is typing this. A new form of money on a worldwide basis. It is much larger than any single project envisioned by any government, and at its core, not really that difficult to bring to fruition.
I like when, like, Elon would email him and be like, you like, the thing is, people...
Got any more epic girls at your party?
Oh my God, yes. Do you have any sex at your sex party? The Chronic Cowboy's here, and he wants a bale of hay. Like, like you're trying to, like, covertly tell your weed dealer that you want weed. Can this cowboy get a bale of hay?
So Torbjörn Jagland wrote in reply, "Hi Jeffrey, all this is not easy for me to explain to Putin. You have to do it. My job is to get a meeting with him. When I say this, I know you want to attract foreign investment to diversify Russian economy, and that you had a meeting with several investors last time you were in the US. But not much has come out of it. I have a friend that can help you to take the necessary measures and then present you and ask whether it is interesting for him to meet with you." To which Jeffrey Epstein replied,
Cool.
"Okay, you can explain that he had investors to Sochi last year, and this year again, it is planned for St. Petersburg. On June 20th, it does not work. It is not the right structure or big enough ideas. He is in a unique position to do something grand, like Sputnik did for the space race.
Whoa.
You can tell him that you and I are close and that I advise Bill Gates. This is confidential. I would be happy to meet him, but for a minimum of 2 to 3 hours, not shorter." This was in 2013.
Right.
For the record.
Oh God. Epstein's part of, like, the billionaire class that, like, looted Russia after the Soviet Union fell, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these guys just plundered the country.
Just fucking, like, siphoning teenage girls.
Oh, yeah.
Into, like, the fucking depravity mines.
Ugh.
Jeffrey Epstein to Ehud Barak in 2013, Putin will redo his staff in the summer, bringing only very trusted people closer, more info on phone or face to face. Then a month earlier, he said, Putin asked that I meet him in St. Petersburg at the same time as his economic conference. I told him no, if he wants to meet, he will need to set aside real time and privacy. Let's see what happens.
Well,
It appears that he was meeting with Putin, with Surkov, with Rykov, with
Rykov.
Andrei Belousov.
These are the plutocrats that just took over the country.
Oh yeah, and it's also important to note that, like, of course, he invested in crypto very early here. He was also very close in contact with Bannon, talking about like Bannon's idea of the end of the dollar empire, where Bannon was in partnership with First Gold Group.
I love that, yeah. These guys are just sending people like, they're sending each other like Deus Ex emails all day. I think we need to get in on this human crime shit. I think we need to get in on human trafficking, Jeffrey.
Yeah, so like, here's, like, the thing is, yeah, so like, yeah, here's an email to Peter Thiel by Jeffrey
Oh,
Epstein.
hell yes.
So Peter Thiel had written, do you think this is the first step in upping the anti-Bitcoin pressure? And Epstein replies, first, it appears that there is little agreement on what Bitcoin is, store of intrinsic value, if any, currency, property, architecture, payment system, etc. Conflicting goals, anonymous but transparent public ledger, like the continuum now in the gender classification, fitting things into narrow boxes seems old school, man presenting as a woman, smells like property, presenting as currency.
Man.
Anyway, more when I see you. I think like the really interesting thing is that like people try to assimilate like what's going on with Epstein to partisan politics or anything like this. And what you get when you actually like, you're like, Epstein was associated with Trump, Epstein was associated with Clinton. No, he was really a Democrat. He actually didn't like Trump. And the thing that you get from reading this,
He's a boomer sex nerd.
You're looking at the bourgeois. You're just looking at the level of wealth where nothing matters. You don't have to be literate. You don't have to have any sort of like cognitive function about anything other than like rape and like and fraud.
So here's the thing. I think you can reach a level of wealth where you can basically just start playing The Sims in real life. I think
basically,
that, I think that, like, because I think, you know, you think about like Diddy, you think about Puff Daddy and how he was basically just doing the thing where like you lock your Sims in a room and set them on fire, but for like real people. I think he basically, yeah, like Epstein is just a guy who, he was like a boomer sex nerd. His favorite series of books, they leaked his bookshelf. I think it was he loved a book series of pulp called Flashman. These are British novels about this aristocrat who just goes around to these like colonial era countries and just like rapes, loots, and plunders, and he's kind of this dashing rogue. Yeah, his favorite novels were the Flashman series. But he's like a boomer Kama Sutra guy, like, oh, I went to India and learned the ancient art of my chakra root and retaining semen. He's like a proto-semen retention guy.
Yeah.
But like in terms of just, yeah, a guy who wants to just play The Sims in real life. You do get cases like that where like there are slave owners historically who did that as well. They're just like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna play I'm just gonna play The Sims. I'm just gonna make my slaves light each other on fire because it entertains me.
You remember Alex Nichols, like on like an episode of Chapo like last year, just had like this one bit where he was like, yeah, like Thomas Jefferson was just like trying to breed white slaves. Like he was just trying
Yeah.
to breed slaves who were like as white as possible before they could like legally no longer be considered slaves.
Oh, I need to look up this slave owner. I can't quite remember his name, but when he would punish his slaves, he would make them shit in each other's mouths. I'm not even fucking kidding. It's the most horrible thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, I mean, like-
he's just you can do that.
I mean, like that's like why they. I mean, that's like why they murdered Pasolini, if we're being honest.
They had to kill him. They're like, no, enough. There's so much shit like that in the South. You know, they're
Yeah, I
just
mean,
like,
that's just like what like that's just like, you know, why like, you know, you get like that's why you get like those Civil War diaries that are like, you know, like the earliest entries are just like some like, kid from Boston just being like, well, it's time to beat back old Johnny Reb. He's getting a little too
little too antsy.
mean. Yeah, a little too antsy, a little too big for his britches, trying to secede from the Union, and then like 100 pages in, they're just like, I am the arm of God called forth
I have to
stand
destroy
against
the cursed Southerner. Have
the
you
Antichrist?
have you seen the movie Mandingo, by the way, from 1975?
haven't yet.
Tarantino basically pillaged it to make Django Unchained. It's like a much better version of that movie. But it's entirely about how, like, you know, the Southerner, like this rundown plantation in like maybe before the Civil War, where like you have these people who play at being classy, but they're like incestuous. They hold ridiculous beliefs, and they make their slaves kill each other. And at the end of the movie, I'll spoil it for you because it's a 50-year-old movie. The white mistress makes the black Mandingo slave sleep with her. She gets pregnant, gives birth to a black baby. They kill the baby. Then the white cuckold father boils his slave alive in a big pot of water, and that's the end. And then like one of the slaves just picks up a gun and shoots him, and that's the end of the movie. That's the end of the. That's just the end of the fucking film. It's an amazing movie.
I like how you just opened the door and there was fucking.
There's like a
spider.
billion fucking there's a big spider outside. Mandingo, Chief Manny from 1975. That was a Paramount movie too.
Yeah, Professor Girth says, like, you can understand why they killed every white person except the Polish and Haiti, and like, the thing is that they didn't even do that.
Well, the Haiti massacre.
That was a black legend against Dessalines.
Yeah. In the case of
Historiography shows that like plenty of like ordinary white French civilians survived. Like it was very targeted against like slaveholders and like fucking like militiamen specifically.
the Haiti Revolution is like why, and I think it was Jamaica as well, where they were like, no, we can't release our slaves. They'll just kill us. So they're at a point where they kind of have a wolf by the tail. They're like, oh God, this doesn't fucking work, but we can't end it.
Yeah, there was like a great article in Liberal Currents recently about how like Dessalines has just been like completely slandered, and just forced the entire historiographical debate into like a completely false like set of presuppositions.
Yeah. But oh my God, you think about like the last days of slavery where they're just like, oh God, what do we do? It's kind of a miracle that like apartheid ended relatively peacefully.
Yeah.
But that's a case where it's like a pariah country that is in the outskirts of Africa. It's not like Israel where it's a first world country with nuclear weapons. Like,
it's like especially like, you know, I mean, South Africa did have nukes.
well, they were dingy little things, yeah.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, South Africa going down as peacefully as they did was miraculous because, like, the apartheid regime in South Africa was basically just like this insane terrorist cartel.
Oh yeah.
Like, people forget that, like, South Africa was just, like, murdering people by blowing planes up.
Oh yeah. Like they didn't like people criticizing them. But the thing is, like, South Africa, it was kind of this Cold War era vessel that when it was no longer necessary,
They were committing Swedish genocide,
Yeah.
because the Swedes had problems with their apartheid.
Rhodesia also shows what happens when this doesn't happen. Well, Rhodesia is a case where, like, you could shut that country down by blowing up the Woolworths. That's kind of why Rhodesia failed. You blow up the grocery store.
Yeah, you could shut down Rhodesia by, like, fucking...
You know.
could shut down Rhodesia by just, like, depriving them of the short store.
Well, that basically is what happened. It reached a point where they're like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to go home. You know, better to go back to London than not be able to get your crisps.
All those fucking, like, Soldier of Fortune, all those fucking Soldier of Fortune articles that were like...
Oh my god, yes.
Rhodesia, and, like, they just left.
You know, everyone got on a... How minority was the Rhodesian government? I think they were, like, even for a minority government. Rhodesia, white population. I think it was, like... They were... Like, what? The white population in Rhodesia peaked in the mid-1970s at approximately 5% of the population, and they had an apartheid government. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
59 says Rhodesia's army was made up of neo-Nazis from Soldier of Fortune.
Yes, it was fittingly, yeah.
All mall ninjas. It was
Yeah.
just all mall ninjas.
Crazy
It was
uncles.
all just like, have you ever met one of those guys who just like adds like stupid shit to their guns and they're like,
Oh yeah.
cruise to aerodynamics. It was all those people.
Oh man. South Africa at its peak was 20%. Yeah, it's such a insane system of government. What did they do? They had like a homeland system where they were like, okay, every race gets its own little country. Every race gets its own country.
Yeah, they had the Bantustan.
Oh.
It was like, it was like just kind of like a morbid comedy because like no country recognized them except for South Africa and like fucking Southwest Africa.
And Israel, weirdly enough.
Yeah, and Israel.
Their buddy Israel.
Like, yeah,
They were best friends with Israel. Everyone forgets that.
Everyone forgets that. Like, a lot of people forget, like, with regards to Israel itself. Like, you know, you look at, like, Israel during, like, the 70s, and during, like, the 70s and 80s, and they were, like, much more controversial. Like, it was, like, an open question whether we wanted to, like, you know, continue supporting Israel or not.
Well, you get to, I think it's after the Lebanon War where you first get a lot of, like, looking back and trying to, like, being like, oh,
yeah,
after how, like,
Sabra and Shatila
yeah,
were just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
We're just like,
which is when, like, you
after they just go into refugee camps and
Yeah.
just, like, shoot like 100 children in the face.
Did you ever see that movie? Oh my god, there's an Israeli animated movie called Waltz with Bashir. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I watched that movie when I, like, was into animation. I was trying to watch, like, just any animated movie I could find. That movie is about an Israeli guy thinking about how doing war crimes made him personally feel bad.
Yeah.
like, wow, this was really hard on me. I'm like, yeah, I fucking bet it was.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's, like, that one quote where, like, Reagan fucking...
yeah, even Reagan is like, stop, what are you doing?
I think it was Menachem Begin, I think, at the time. He fucking telephoned Menachem Begin and was like, sir, this is a Holocaust.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Begin, like, tried to like get an epic quote in where he said, "I think I of all people know what a Holocaust is," and he was like, and Reagan was just like, "Shut up, man."
Shut up, you jerk! Oh my God, yeah, a rare good Ronald Reagan moment. He had his moments, but like, oh my God.
Yeah, just like Reagan trying to get like the like epic snapback and it just not working.
Sir, I think I know. I was thinking more. Oh no, I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? They were called flashes of lucidity. Well, Reagan wanted to be liked by everyone, so even he had to be like, "Oh yeah, California, we're gonna legalize abortion." He had a few things where he just wanted everyone to like him. But yeah, everyone being like absolutely fucking appalled at Israel is why they kind of retreated for a while and were like, okay, how the fuck do we get people to like? How do we get people to like Israel?
Just like straight up turned like Roald Dahl anti-Semitic.
Oh my God, yes, the section of Roald Dahl's Wikipedia page that lists him as like a vicious anti-Semite. If you read the quote, he's just being like, yeah, they're doing fucked up things in Lebanon.
Yeah, I mean, he like goes a little. He goes like a little.
Oh, he has like an old man moment where he's like an old British guy moment. Where he's like, well, you know, people hated them for a reason.
Where he's like, never before in history have we seen people turn from like victims to murderers like this. Like that's like kind of like the essential thing of it. Like,
yeah,
he's just on point there.
Yeah, and he's an old British guy, so he's gonna say some dumb shit. But yeah, he's listed as like a vicious anti-Semite on Wikipedia.
Right back. I need to grab something for myself.
I like the part in Wolfenstein 2 where Hitler shoots Ronald Reagan. Oh yeah, that's right. That's like the only thing anyone remembers about that game. And now it's even worse. Yeah, now it's, well, you know. Rocky or Angie, can I suggest a game for a future stream? Am I better off joining the Discord? It would be nice if you joined the Discord, but you can always suggest something. You will get notifications of when we go live if you join the Discord. How are you guys enjoying the stream? I think this was a wonderful choice. And I'm so glad. I thought we were only going to have Angie for like an hour. So I'm glad that we managed to get her for a while. Shoot. This is, now that I can actually talk a bit about the game, this is probably like one of the most interesting games of like the last, like 10 years, I want to say. So something about this game is that it has like 3 different keys for reloading. You have to manually load every shell. So I can unload these.
Oh yeah.
And then I can reload them. And you have to do all that with different buttons. And it's like, trying to simulate a gun as like a complex piece of metal is really interesting, because every video game just has it be like a laser pointer.
I tried that out for a while, and then I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to switch back to like normal FPS mode.
Yeah, it's kind of like this game got like it came out, and I think it was, you know, dismissed as 1, a really weird Japanese thing, 2, a boomer shooter, the worst fucking term on the planet. And no, this is the most interesting this is the most interesting game of like the last 5 years in terms of how it like controls and simulates like using a gun. Anyway.
Gaspar Lewis says, "Okay, Angie, pop quiz. What religious order do you think the Chud peanut is part of?" And I don't fucking know.
Oh my God, yes, the esoteric peanut.
The Chud peanut.
How do I get my fists out? Is there a button for the fists? Ooh. Wow, thank you, New Blood Interactive. Whoa, what if it was Duke Nukem, but it was I don't know.
I don't know enough about like streamers or who.
Oh, awesome.
Like, I just don't know that shit.
The burnt peanut. No one knows who the burnt peanut is. That's awesome. The burnt peanut. I had a dream about him where I was hitting him with a hammer, actually, and he was yelling at me. He was yelling at me. He was going, "No, no, no!"
I stopped paying attention to like new video guys after Rao Cow, basically.
Oh man.
However, I did However, I do want to say, by the way, yes, Cat Planet. However, I do want to say, I recently read an online novel that
Oh, please, yes, I've been waiting to hear this.
that it just reminded me a lot of 2013 Tumblr. Does anybody here, were they on Tumblr in 2013?
I was. You can ask like any white girl and they'll have Tumblr memories of being on there and they're all horrible.
I just have to say, like, just as a digression, like, everyone's like, a lot of people are like confused and bewildered and nauseated by JD Vance. And part of that is because, like, you know, like, I mean, like, in 2013, I was on like both Tumblr and 4chan is the thing. I was like a 4Tumblr, like I was.
Power.
Like, if Tumblr was for girls and 4chan was for boys, I was an NB, I guess you could say. But like the thing about it is just like, the thing about it is just like, a lot of people are familiar with, like, you know, the alt-right, which is just like basically what Pol started calling themselves when they wanted to pretend that they were a serious movement.
Oh, it crashed. How much time do you have left, Angie? Are you good to stay?
I have like a half an hour left.
Oh, let's keep going then. Yeah, hang on, I'll reboot the game. It crashed. Hang on. Continue.
But yeah, like a lot of people are like familiar with, like, you know, like fucking like 4chan chuds. Like everyone knows about Pol, everyone knows about, like, you know, like meme magic and rare pepes and all that, but like everyone forgets that there used to be like a right-wing contingent on Tumblr too. And if you're familiar with like the neo-reactionaries at all, the people who like were before, like, you know, 4chan, like before like Pol like formed into like a nationally known political movement.
What a weird thing.
Like, the neo-reactionaries had Tumblr vibes, is the thing.
They came from like, because I know alt-right 1.0 was like YouTube guys who kind of like Roosh, like all these old people, like it was a combination of like these manosphere, like
guys, Chateau Artiste, yeah, like W. McNugg says, the My Nationalist Pony guy.
Oh my god, My Nationalist Pony, yes.
The Human Pet guy,
I remember him.
Is a Tumblr guy.
He does have that vibe.
The thing is that, like, a lot of the neo-reactionaries were just, like... A lot of the neo-reactionaries were basically, like, Tumblr people. And this is the social milieu that JD Vance...
Yeah, he's like a Tumblr millennial.
Yeah.
He's a theater
and so
kid.
it, like, it offends people's ears when he's just like, y'all... can we not? Because, like, he comes from, like, this sort of, like, coterie of, like, weird Tumblr guys in 2014 who were just like, listen, so much of this fucking platform denies how bad crime is. They don't realize that crime can ruin lives.
Y'all.
And we need to take, like, crime statistics seriously, y'all. Because the thing is that ordinary people, like, they don't like crime, even if y'all think that it's cool.
He is kind of like like the guy, like a racist My Little Pony guy or something like that, where he would be there being like, listen, we need to get real about, like, crime stats, man. We need to get real about this. This fandom is not talking about crime, and he's like, why are you posting this in the My Little Pony tag?
They're just, like, turning around, like, the chair, like
y'all,
resting his arms
let's
on,
get
like,
real.
rest.
This is now my favorite Twitch just for these references. I'm so glad. Welcome. We could absolutely find a pony Sona of J.D. Vance. Yes.
Do you remember Night Vale?
Oh, that disappeared. That vanished pretty quickly. I think that's still going.
It is still going. It still has episodes coming out.
What a weird thing. I listened to like 5 minutes of that, but I know it was a massive thing with like the big library girl demographic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was just I was just like I came across an article on like some weird fucking blog that's titled "Welcome to Night Vale, More Conservative Than It Seems."
Oh yeah, the secret-based reading.
Yeah, I'm only bringing this up because just like it's really fascinating because it like quotes like people from like the Manhattan Institute, and it's clearly written by someone who is intimately familiar with like the podcast, but it's also written, it also just comes across like it's written by an alien is the thing.
That I don't know. The kind like Tumblr people were homeschooled. They give off those kind of vibes, and that does produce people like that.
Yeah, so like there's like a running bit in Night Vale where like Cecil just like hates his brother-in-law and like just like yells at him on the airwaves, just like you understand that, Steve Carlsberg, and like this author just writes a paragraph that's like this lack of social cohesion shows up in more minor ways as well. For instance, Cecil sees nothing wrong with publicly humiliating Steve Carlsberg by calling him out on the airwaves, often for reasons that make so little sense they might as well be no reason at all. And it's like this is like written by someone who doesn't understand what narrative is. This is written by someone who has never heard of the concept of a joke.
Oh, not to get off the subject of like right wingers. You know, Mr. Enter, right?
Oh yeah.
He's amazing because he thinks that like he's the kind of guy who like hates Family Guy for being too mean to like Meg, like but he thinks like Meg is real and has feelings, like that kind of thing where it's like, why are they being so mean to Squidward? That's not right. I hate it when they're mean to Squidward.
Oh yeah, the phrase Squidward torture porn.
Oh, that's a classic Serbism,
like,
yeah.
Lodged in my mind.
Serbs always talking about the Squidward like protection unit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this. This article was written by someone named Debs on a website called the-artifice.com, and I have no fucking clue what this website is, but I'm looking through this author's articles, and they're all just titled stuff like Juno as a dark subversion of family drama.
Oh, you know what? This is Obama. This is
of the British office. This is like an Obama era Manhattan Institute Tumblr guy.
Yeah, that
It's, like so perfect.
Oh my god. Juno and conservative values. Yeah, that's pure Obama right there. Michael Cera is a beta male, like that kind of old discourse.
Oh yeah.
We need to bring back Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, like the online novel I was reading that was making me think of all this ephemera. It's called Modern Cannibals. It's written by an author called Babbitts, and I highly recommend it. It's really good. It's about a really autistic 16-year-old girl whose friends hate her. And she's friends with like this boy named Max, who's like a lit bro.
Right.
Who gets into Homestuck. He's like a huge fan of like James Joyce and Thomas Pynchon and like Borges and all these authors.
He's a bro, yeah.
And he gets into Homestuck and he's like he gets into Homestuck and then he like shreds all of his attempts at writing novels and stories and like burns the shreds into ashes and tramples the ashes because he's like the literature is like completed now. Like this is like the work of all works. It's like a thoroughgoing treatment of the renovation of the world, and nothing can exceed that. And he's also just like completely uninterested in the autistic girl who is like supposed to be his friend, and he's like being dismissive of her, and she's like really upset by this because like they became friends in elementary school because she was a huge fan of this one JRPG and he was as well, and so is her friend Kiki, who's like a sex obsessed like punk girl now. And now they've changed and she's really upset about this because she just wants to play video games with them and they don't want to play video games with her anymore.
Oh, no.
So she decided to organize a road trip to a fan convention in order to meet Andrew Hussey and show her friend Max that
man.
that like Andrew Hussey is a fraudster and a liar, and break him of his spell. And she manages to organize this because her friend Kiki is friends with this guy who's like a couple years older named Cal, who's like a Persian rapper who is like in a quote-unquote band that is just exclusively him rapping and Kiki playing bass.
Oh my god.
And Cal just like decides to drive them all the way from Denver, Colorado to Las Vegas, and they meet an insane guy who spins his car around like it's GTA.
Oh man.
And it just gets worse from there. It just gets so awful and painful. Like, I mean, even from chapter 1, you're just like confronted with like this like pure misery of this girl just like not understanding why her friends like are blowing her off. And it's just so it's so painful all the way through. I love it.
It sounds miserable. We were the whole stream was leading here. Are you familiar with the Kokoro Wish comic? I might put it up on the stream. That's one of my favorite comics of all time. The Kokoro Wish.
By Jennifer Diane Reeds.
Will you introduce Jennifer Diane Reeds, my favorite person on the internet?
Jennifer Diane Reeds is I want to say, like, how old is she?
Oh, like early 2000s transsexual, back when they would still use
so
that. Like,
she is 66 years old.
oh my god, yes.
She is a 66-year-old trans woman who like created like a game design studio that was also a polycule back in like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And they created an extremely unique puzzle game called Boppin'. And so yeah, there's basically like nothing like Boppin as far as I can tell. She was the one who created the Kogiati, the combined gender identity and transsexuality inventory test.
Oh my god.
Which
had questions like, you might be trans if you're bad at driving.
yeah, you might be a trans woman if you're bad at driving and you don't understand math.
Oh my god.
It's like very like outdated and stereotypical, but it's also like kind of understandable. Like, you know, this is a woman who like grew up like, you know, like kind of having to just do all of this on like hard mode.
The best anecdote about Jennifer is she had one of the internet's first demo websites where you could download demos. And I think she made millions of dollars off of that and spent all of it on furry commissions. Quite literally millions of dollars on furry commissions, which like
Yes.
Amazing.
But she is like she also like she has been in a polyamorous marriage for decades now.
Oh man.
She went she underwent like hormone therapy and gender transition surgery in like the early 80s.
Wow.
After her father like tried to murder her.
The lore is amazing, yeah.
So she went through a lot of shit to get where she is now. And she spent like the entirety of the 90s and the 2000s making extremely unique webcomics called things like Unicorn Jelly and Pastel Defender Heliotrope that are like extremely, they're very weird and cute, I would say.
They are. She's one of those people where like you can't help but be yourself, and it results in very interesting like outsider art.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Which is kind of what this game is as well. Like Doa Kuramori is just following his passions. He likes anime girls, he likes gore, he likes guns, and so he kind of followed his North Star and like made this game, and it ended up being this.
Yeah.
Are you familiar? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The Kokoro Wish comic on screen, by the way.
I did. Yes, it was on screen, so everyone did see it.
So put it back on screen.
Of
for a
course,
second.
yes, of course.
I didn't see it because.
Oh,
of,
I will pop it
game
right
crash
back on.
Stuff, but just like
Yes, there it is.
Kokoro means heart, heartfelt. Want to know what my Kokoro Wish is?
Kokoro
It is
Wish.
this.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Jennifer. I've been an asshole and a fuck up, and I have destroyed your career and your dreams. I can barely even imagine the pain I've caused you. I see you suffer and die a little more every day. I should have been a real friend to you. I should have kept my word, kept my promises, and worked with you to make your game designs. It is my biggest regret, and if I had to do it over again, I would do things with honor. I can never restore all of what you have lost, who we have both lost, due to my ego, my jealousy, and my weakness. But I can make a new start from now on, and I can work to make up for some of what I have done to you. Maybe I can earn some respect once more from you and from myself. You have so little reason to trust me, and I know that. I take responsibility for what I have done. Now, at least, anyway. Here is a complete, if simple game. It's one you always wanted to do. It is done except for art. I hope you will accept it as proof that I intend to make things right. If it takes me the rest of my life, I will prove that I am worth the faith you have always somehow had in me. Oh God, I am so sorry. I know you were pretty darn hurt. You may not be able to immediately create things with me like you once could, but I want you to know that when you are ready, I will work hard and I will finish whatever we start. I mean this because it's the one thing that I can do that will ever elevate me from being a screwed up, nasty little boy to a decent adult man. I want to be worthy of the love I get. I want to redeem my very soul. I'm so sorry.
Who is this, by the way?
I don't even know.
I
who
don't
this
know
is.
who that is. I have no. So this is. Oh my God. The just hoping this person from 40 years ago apologizes to you. That's my Kokoro wish.
Rocky, read the Doi Kodomori.
Oh, you pull that up, Angie. You can find it. I'll keep blasting anime girls. That's whatever part. Oh my God. Are you familiar with the webcomic Jack? I think it's an old furry webcomic.
Oh God, of course I am. That one quote from it is seared in my head, into my head. The one that's like, you know, in heaven they make love, on earth they have sex, but in hell they fuck.
Oh my God. Yeah, the author of that was like a Randy Stair type figure where they kind of just wanted to not have like a body anymore, but they were also like a potential school shooter. I think. Oh God, I don't remember much about Jack, that webcomic. It was like a furry webcomic about a furry that does a school shooting, goes to hell, gets raped by the devil, and then cuts his balls off. At least if I'm remembering it correctly.
Yeah. So, I have like 15 minutes left.
Okay,
but
yes.
We might as well close on
More of Doku Omori.
this interview with Doi Kodomori.
Mm-hmm.
So Niche Gamer interviewed Doi Kodamori, the developer behind the Citadel, and this is before Beyond Citadel.
Yes.
Back in 2020, after he received abusive comments over the game's content. They explain how after a critical video review of the game on YouTube, the developer began to take that reviewer's opinion as fact and sent abusive messages to the developer that included characterizing him as a dangerous individual.
Oh.
Doi Kodamori said this. Hi, this is Doi Kodamori. I am the creator of the Citadel. Thank you for playing and your feedback on the game. I will try to make in the future to make games with more variety and the feedback in mind. However, there is one thing that is absolutely wrong. I am not Guro artist. This is not a Guro fetish game. Lately, there have been many comments accusing me of being a nasty person and attacking me. This isn't true. I'm not Guro artist. I don't make Guro artworks or dojin. My interests are Toho, Lost in Abyss, and biomechanism.
Amazing.
I also very like dark themes in games that have dark themes and oppressive feeling. I hope you can see it now. Not Guro. I'm interested in biomechanism, like how people merge with machines in the future, and what kind of conception that will make, like Ghost in the Shell meets H.R. Giger. It's strange aesthetic, and I think creates interesting image, but it's not Guro. The Citadel features jipping and violence because I identify that as a big part of the aesthetic of classic retro shooter, ultra-violence. Because I draw anime style, I interpret that through the way I draw. It is not quote-unquote fetish. It is inspired by those old games and also newer games, which are influenced by that old style like Shadow Warrior 2. I was quite interested by the jibbing and gore system in Shadow Warrior because it's like how old brutality meets new technology that allows use of physics with jib system. Again, not because it is sexual. I'm proud of what I achieved with the Citadel game, even if it's not perfect, but now I receive many comments and mean messages after watching video from people accusing me of being a dangerous freak who only wants to hurt girls. It's not my intention, please understand.
I don't want to hurt girls. I love girls.
Yeah.
I believe him. I think he just finds this interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get the sense that he's getting off to this. I think he just finds this idea very interesting.
Yeah. Niche Gamer says, thank you very much for speaking with us, Doi Kodamori. For those unfamiliar with your prior works, can you tell our readers more about yourself and the Citadel? And he says, hi, I'm Doi Kodamori, an indie game developer from Japan, and recently I published my first work that combines classic-style FPS and anime manga-style artwork on Steam. Now I'm working with Top Hat Studio to port the game to consoles. They asked what was the inspiration behind the project. We see some influences from the original Doom, for example. And he says, needless to say, the Citadel is under a strong influence of Doom, but maybe an influence from Wolfenstein 3D is much stronger. The Citadel's gameplay is mainly focused on firefights between human form enemies and the player. Also, the main weapon of the player is an automatic rifle, not a shotgun. Every weapon has an alternative fire, and I'm pretty sure that was because of the influence of the Marathon series.
He's
the Citadel.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, see, there is like he did put his sexual fetishes like into this, but like in the sense that like there is like the martyr fucks her brother, who's like, which is like, it's clear that he's like, yeah, no, he likes the Oni Shota thing, but also like, yeah, I don't think he wants to like kill women. I just think he's an interesting person.
The Citadel has a lot of ways to sequence pointing, like passing through a locked door without requiring a key, and is maybe the result of an influence of the Metroid series. By the way, I have always had a feeling that classic FPSs lack love for guns, and I added some modern features like leading malfunctions of guns, manual reloading, picking, and tactical reloading. These features were made under influences from Outlaws and the Stalker series. Also, every weapon which fires bullets by gunpowder has a different mechanism and has a different style of operating. I must add that the style of the game divided into 6 acts, and every final level of an act having a bullet hell style boss battle is maybe made under the influences of Toho Project series.
Yeah,
the story of the game takes place in a distant dark future. The world setting of the game is influenced by the manga series Blame and BD series Meta Barons by Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Oh, hell yeah.
The world has red sky and green structures, and I set this color combination referring to Relics, 1986.
Whoa.
The characters of the Citadel are not made for this game, and they were just illustrations drawn a long time ago, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, and most of them have less influences from games mentioned before. The main protagonist was drawn in an image of the characters of a strong and silent atmosphere. She wears strangely revealing costumes. These characteristics were inspired by the characters like Tarna from Heavy Metal the movie and Aeon from Aeon Flux, the animated series. I'm not much interested in storytelling in FPS gaming, but it does have a storyline mostly untold. Some people might have noticed that the game's storyline is similar to the storyline of Tarna. Also, some people have noticed similarities between the storyline of the Citadel and the one of Pathways into Darkness, 1993.
I can definitely see the influences that, like, yeah, but like this is not a man who wants to kill women. This is a man who like wants to get molested by his babysitter. Like that's
Yeah.
that's the vibe of this game is like he clearly loves all this like
Yeah.
biomecha stuff, but also yeah, he wants to get molested by the anime older sister.
There may be a misconception that this style of classic FPS is only popular in the West. How has the Citadel and games like it been received in Japan? He says, to most FPS players of Japan, classic FPS means 007 GoldenEye, Halo series, Medal of Honor Frontline, and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I think far fewer people play so-called throwback FPSs in Japan than the West. Of course, there are some classic FPS fans, and they're interested in my game, but I think most of Japanese players of the game are interested in its unfamiliar combination of FPS and manga-style artworks, not because it has classic-style FPS elements. The game draws the attention of people who usually don't play FPSs. Because of this, the most received messages from the game's players in Japan were the thoughts that the game was too difficult even in an easy setting. Except its difficulty, some people mention and praise details of the guns, like HK snapping of submachine guns and reloading actions of guns which have built-in tube magazines. So yeah, this is definitely like a gun guy.
Yeah, he's like a gun autist, and you can really tell when you actually like play the game.
Yeah, I have like mild gun excuse me. I have like mild gun autism, but like it's a level of gun autism that like above even me. Like I've never I've shot guns before. I'm very interested in the mechanics of guns, but like I've never I had to turn off like the fucking metal simulation, like the physical simulations
Yeah.
for guns in this game, just because like
They're too intense.
I want to do that stuff if I'm holding a real gun. Like I don't want to
know.
like press keys in order to.
See, I
like,
find that interesting. The
I mean,
idea
I
of like,
respect
yeah.
it. I respect it, but like it's just not for me.
Oh, that's fair, but I like just the idea that no, this is a complex piece of metal that you are manipulating, not a laser pointer that goes pew pew pew. But that is the end of our stream. Thank you so much, Angie. This was wonderful. I'm so glad you could stay for longer. This was Beyond Citadel by Doa Kuramori. I hope that I convinced you to
Let's
buy it.
continue soon.
We will continue this because I had a lot of fun doing this. Buy this game. Give this guy your money. He is making probably the most interesting like FPS that I've seen in the last 10 years.
Yeah, he's awesome.
You actually do need to give like developers like this your money. This game is fucking awesome. You really should like buy it. This is going on the YouTube, yes.
100%.
All right. Thank you so much, Angie. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Read Modern Cannibals, I would say.
Yeah, everyone go read Modern Cannibals. And if you're here on the YouTube watching this, what did you think? What who do you want to see? What other games do you want Angie on for? Go to youtube.com/KimonoFriendZone. That's where we archive all our shit. If you're here for the first time, go there. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Goodbye.